What was the weirdest / stupidest reason student or students were expelled or suspended at your school? There was this kid in middle school that was always getting bullied. Despite going telling teachers and administration, nothing changed. His parents got involved, and even the few friends he had stood up for him as much as they could. He still got beaten and picked on almost every day, and his abusers suffered no consequences. This went on for an entire school year. So over the summer he took self-defense lessons. Come the next year, the bullying stared up, but this time he breaks one of the kid's nose. However, he got in trouble and permanently was suspended from school. This caused such an uproar from his parents and other students that even the local news got involved. It was a mess, but he ended up having to go to another school district, and I think the principal resigned over the incident. Same here. Happened to me, but I didn't break his nose. My friend knocked over a fruit cup and didn't clean it up. The cafeteria workers asked her to clean up the mess, and she said no. I think I offered to clean it, just to end the whole thing, but they wanted her to do it. I'm not sure exactly what happened after that, but my other friends and I were pulled out of class to talk about it, and the fruit spiller got suspended for her attitude or something like that. Wow, why didn't she just do it? It's just a fruit cup. She was a rebel child, which would definitely explain a lot of her questionable choices as an adult. If I remember correctly, she threatened to beat us up when she came back because we just told the truth when the principal asked. Probably had oppositional defiance disorder. Most people grow out of it by high school. People like that are usually jerks. A handful of seniors put giant Confederate flags on their trucks and did donuts around the parking lot on the last day of school, where the majority of the student population is not white and has 2 black principals. Couldn't suspend them at that point, but they were banned by the superintendent from the graduation ceremony and all related events. Someone gets expelled for a water gun, but they were banned at events and not suspended. Wow. It might have been the end of the year, and if it was near graduation ceremony, then they probably were most likely on the last day of school. Can't suspend people from school when there's no school. Can't really suspend someone after they've graduated. Oh, but it's supposed to be about heritage, right? Long story short, a girl called a black kid the N-word. He got upset. His black friend said, "You can't say that. Someone would probably slap you if you say that again." The person that said that got suspended, and the girl that said the N-word got 2 weeks excused absence for her safety. Oh, for her safety. Did she have that pass though? Probably not, but you never know. The fact that she didn't even get punished tells me the school is in the South. I think this might have been my school. What year? I called a black guy the N-word, and I was the most affected. I think I'm too soft to fight my bullies. Bully or not, don't call them the N-word. A group of kids from my brother's class put half-rotted meat into the air conditioners of the science building. This was about a month before graduation, so the outside temperatures were well over 100 degrees, and not running the AC was a health hazard. On the other hand, running the AC made the bad smell worse. All the classes had to be moved to other rooms or corners of the auditorium and library for that last month. No idea how the kids were caught, but they were suspended for the rest of the year except for finals, and not allowed to participate in prom or their graduation ceremony. They tortured all of you, including them. Hopefully they made them pay the cost of the cleanup too. Just a quick note, my school was on a big property with a playground in front, and then a black fence surrounding it. You could stick your arm through the fence posts. So this 8th grader was at recess, eating his snack. We had snack and recess combined. I'm not sure why, because I wasn't in his class, but he threw the orange he was eating. It was like the size of a cutie orange, through the fence out into the street. The orange hit a window of a house across the street and broke the window. His family had to pay to get it fixed. He was suspended. TBH, I understand why they would suspend him, but why in the world would he throw it? Like, dude, the frick? Oh, another one. In primary school we all had a wholesome game of tag, but you gotta hug the person. My whole grade had to sit in the assembly hall cause the teachers didn't like anyone touching anyone. We were like 9. Teacher, let's play tag. All y'all, yay teacher, but no tagging. All y'all, visible confusion. Yeah, these days are days of overreaction. I like the old days of fewer rules. Time for some natural selection. Haha, well, kind of. We're already practicing natural selection by being able to drive vehicles insanely dangerous speeds on the roads, if you think of it. Was in grade school. 4 of us were playing Foursquare. Me, a guy, a stuck-up teacher's pet, and another girl. I kinda liked the other girl, so I was calling her names and teasing her. Nothing too bad. Teacher's pet said she would tell the principal I was bullying her if I called her one more name. So I asked the girl what name I could call her. She said, I don't mind Froggy or something like that. I said, okay, Froggy. Teacher's pet told principal, and I was expelled for bullying. I went to a private school that had a conservative rule about the length of boys' hair. One guy had hair that was about down to his chin, which was way past the limit. He was given repeated warnings and write-ups to get it cut over a 2-month period until finally the principal said his hair was twice the allowed length and he needed to cut it by half. The next week he showed up to school with half of his head bust. We thought it was hilarious, but he was suspended for a week and wasn't allowed to return until the rest of his hair was the same length. There was a girl who got expelled 3 months before graduation because she wasn't going to pass, yet one of the teacher's kids had a lower note in each of the same classes. It was a small school with a lot of favoritism and discrimination, and it definitely didn't help out the girl at all. She ended up getting pregnant and kicked out of her house not 2 months after we all graduated. It was a real pity. Wow, that's tough. Hope she's doing well. What does that mean? One of the teachers had a lower note. I went to a high school where we had to wear uniform Oxford shirts with a front pocket. One year the seniors started goofing around and pocketing each other. Sort of like pantsing, except they'd tear the victim's shirt pocket off. By the end of the day, half the class was on in-school suspension. Wow, half. Were you suspended too? To be fair, it was a small school, lol. The senior class was less than 100 people. I was a junior at the time and therefore not involved. A group of, I don't know, 25 or 30 seniors would go out to a fairly secluded spot to drink beer and party. One guy was riding his skateboard down a blacktop road when he got hit by a car and killed about a mile from the party site. School suspended 8 or 10 people who admitted to being out there. No question he was on his way to join them, but like I said, this was a mile away and none of them had anything to do with it other than just being out there. We had a vice principal at my old high school called Mrs. Duckworth. A student walked by and said quack quack to her, and they were suspended. The duck walked by the principal's door, he said hey, quack quack, and the principal said Ommi, and he got suspended. Rip. She's very self-conscious, or else she wouldn't do that. Should have thrown breadcrumbs at her. Not defending her, but that's a sure way to get suspended. For going down a staircase. My friend and I were going to be late to a class, so we decided to take a staircase closer to our lockers. When we got down, our teacher came in threatening to suspend us for taking that staircase that was apparently off limits to everyone for an unknown reason. I managed to talk my way out of it, but my friend wasn't as smart and had a worse record than I did and got the suspension. My ex-partner's younger brother brought in a water gun like those cheap, neon orange dollar store ones when he was in 4th grade. Got expelled immediately, and they actually had to move to a different town because there was no school he could transfer to. I understand why they did it, but like, come on. A tiny water gun can make a big impact now. That's rough. Not the stupidest, but the most reasonable only suspension I know of happened. Sorry, this guy was rubbing it, grabbing this girl's legs in parts, and so the girl started to swear at him, and also to the teacher, and they got suspended for like a week, I believe. Wait, did the guy or the girl get suspended? Both. Actually, 7th grade is crazy, am I right? Whenever I was in 7th grade, we had a teacher named Miss Chestnut who taught science. I'm not sure how we got on the topic, but she told us how several of her kids and possibly her husband died in a fire. Then you hear this kid start singing Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. She broke a clipboard over her knee and burst into tears. Can't remember how the kid was punished. My friend got suspended once because he sneezed in the auditorium when our principal was giving speech. She thought he was doing it deliberately. Turn out he had allergic reactions. All these schools sound wild. I'm pretty sure a kid yelled something, can't remember what, during the moment of silence and nothing happened to him. Yes, I know my school was terrible. I went to a boarding school, and the administration was way too focused on the school's public image, so much that it often compromised academics and student mental health. Over the summer my friend made a post on Twitter about how the school had contributed to his anxiety and depression. The next day he got a call from the school saying he couldn't come back for his senior year. I got sent home from school because I discovered a dead snake in my backpack and asked the teacher if I could go to the bathroom to dispose of it. He sent me to the office. The assistant principal thought I brought it in on purpose. Turns out a buddy put it in my bag several days earlier to scare me. My dad thought it was hilarious. Back in the days of AOL Instant Messenger, this kid sent a message to another student in which he called our middle school principal a troglodyte. The student's dad was apparently close to some of the faculty and took a screenshot of the exchange and sent it to the principal. He should have gotten an award for knowing how to spell troglodyte. My friend was pushed into a locker by his bully. My friend got suspended, and the bully was rewarded for dealing with the situation properly. The bully was the principal's son. I have so many questions containing my confusion and anger. Well, if the bully didn't like seeing your friend's face, he did deal with it properly. Someone was expelled for pulling down my little brother's pants and underwear in the cafeteria. They were 13. Whoops. I don't know if I said happy cake day, so happy cake day. I pray for your brother's dignity. He had the last laugh. Think he is okay now XD. Someone sent the entire school an email that was titled, "Are you 21?" That was an attachment. That was a picture of the girl who led the student walkout after the school shootings in spring 2018 at a firing range. That was found on her Instagram. They tried for 10 days for that, but he managed to get it down to 5. I sneezed during school pictures. That's it. I literally had a sneezing fit for some reason while they were taking them. Principal said my parents I would have to pay several $100s to get the pictures redone, or I would get expelled for 2 days. Parents chose expulsion.